Thank you for joining me today for this live Facebook video chat about 5 things you can do right now, that's 5, not 10, to reunite with your erased family. And before we get started, waiting for some people to join us, I want to give some updates on the film. We are almost done. Yay! We should be done editing the film around September 12th. And we will be finishing the post-production, which is the color correction, sound correction, the titles. So all of you who have donated and got a dedication to your kid in the titles, we're going to make sure that that's all there. We have so many. We have almost 500, which is amazing. So thank you so much. And we are on track for a 2019 premiere. So we're very excited about the film. If you're just joining us, we are going to talk to you about 5 things you can do today to reunite with your erased child. Today, not to start the process, right? And to give you some more crazy updates, the buzz around the film in Hollywood has been really incredible. We are hoping to get this onto a major network or platform like HBO or Netflix, so it gets out there, so people begin to talk about this. I'm actually going to check my phone right now because I'm in the middle of production and I have to be filming stuff. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. That's the life of a filmmaker. Sometimes people begin to get to you. So, and I've had a long day and a stressful day because in addition to getting constant questions from people who are really suffering and don't know where to turn, people who want to tell their stories, people who are asking help with the webpage. As a filmmaker, an independent filmmaker, I also have to deal with a lot of forms. So today I had to fill out an insurance form because we need to get insurance to make sure that if anybody sues us, I mean, you can imagine why that could possibly happen. We have an insurance company to back us up. Realizing a lot of, accounting issues, just a lot of stuff that goes into making a film that is very unglamorous and is very much not fun, and no one thinks they're going to get into that when they sign up to become a filmmaker. But all of that is really worth it if we can reunite at least one family. And we've already reunited families. So maybe one family is a low goal, but everything is worth it if this film and this movement and training people to talk about this issue can help create change. And not just for your kids, but for the other kids out there and the other families, that they'll never have to go through an adversarial court system again. So without further ado, and please use the comment section and type in comments or questions. Seeing a lot of cool people joining. Feel free to ask questions. What are some things you can do right now? So the top 5. Number 1, go through your social media presence, your Facebook, if you're on Twitter, Instagram, and this counts for private groups as well, and any post or comment that you talk negatively about your ex, that you talk negatively about the parents of your children, erase it right away and never post anything like that again. Now, I'm assuming that everything you write is true. I'm not going to doubt who's right and who's wrong. But 2 things happen. One, the people who watch that think, and I think this too, when someone says my narcissistic ex, my first thought is, well, maybe you're the narcissist. How do I know? It's a squabble. It's impossible to prove anything. So right away, you're making an issue about a personal relationship failing. And we're here to talk about the family courts and how the family courts are adversarial in nature, which inspires people to fight. People make money off of the conflict. Children suffer. So the first thing is nothing negative about your ex. I would say the good rule is to never mention your ex at all in public. And if you think that private Facebook group is private, think again. Anything you write online is public. Assume it will be seen by the judge and by your children. Now, if you are complaining that your ex is bad-mouthing you to your kids, you need to model good behavior to your children. And the first way you do that is not by bad-mouthing your ex. You want to mimic the behavior you want. If you need to vent, therapy, support groups. In our last chat, we talked a lot about all the resources. You can go to erasingfamily.org, check out our awesome resources page. You can also look at the past videos that we did on Facebook. You can watch them at any time. But when a child sees that you are looking to blame the other parent, all they think to themselves is, wow. I had this one parent telling me that I had parent A telling me parent B is bad. Now parent B is telling me parent A is bad. So I need to now stick with this loyalty, switch loyalties, or run away and have no contact with anybody. Very few have the emotional maturity, the therapeutic training, the grace to have a relationship with everybody when everybody is fighting. So the first thing is for the hostilities to stop. Also, if you do have an ex who's suffering from a personality disorder, and any psychiatrist or psychologist you talk to will back this up, the worst thing you can do is to engage, because that is what they're looking for. They're looking for an emotional reaction, which to them, and I hate you or a complaint is the same as I love you, because it is engagement. So by turning down your engagement, you also help over time to not be engaged in that sort of behavior. So that was step one. Take down anything negative about your ex on social media. Talk about the judges, the system, the lawyers, what the school did. Talk about the trouble you have to see your kid, how orders are not being enforced, how it's too expensive to go and get those orders enforced. That's all fine. But do not mention your ex on social media. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Let me see if there's any questions. I got two people saying, George, so Georgiana Proft said never private. Yeah, so I think people think that because they're in a private Facebook group, it means that it is private in the sense of if we go into a room and talk, it's a private conversation. It's not. All it means is that it's harder for people to find, but it can be found. I'm not sure if you guys got the news, but there was a conference of hackers. Hackers have a bad name as people who break into things, but also hackers sometimes want to show vulnerabilities in systems so people can fix them. And within 15 minutes, 10 and 11-year-olds, I'm not making this up, this is a big news item, hacked into replicated electoral databases. Basically, they hack the election in 10 to 15 minutes, and they're 11 years old. So if you think that an 11-year-old can't find your private Facebook page, if you think that someone can't track you down, or with some basic knowledge, realize which computer you're sending stuff from and track that, you're living in the 1990s. This stuff is pretty easy to do. Maybe not easy for you, but that doesn't mean easy for other people. Also, you can always screenshot anything. So even if if we are chatting in a private Facebook Messenger, I can screenshot that and put that online, and people do it all the time. There is no such thing as privacy. I'm not saying this is a good thing. I think it's a bad thing, but this is the world we're living in. So just got someone from Burning Newland. So proud of you guys. Come and wake up Australia, please. Okay, this is another thing you can do in help. Go to erasingfamily.org, click on share your story, and record a video today, not tomorrow. We are finishing the movie, and we really need videos from all over the world. We would love, Bernie, if you can make a video with an Australian accent. And all it says is that you're an erased parent or an erased grandparent or erased sibling cousin. You hold up the sign, you say how long it's been since you've seen your kid, what you miss about them. Boom, it can be done in 30 seconds. You can use your smartphone, it's super easy. And we need more people from all over the world to do it. It's okay if it's not in English. It's okay if it's super short. It's okay if the quality is bad. But we're finishing the film, and this honestly is beginning to piss me off a little. People contact me all the time saying, I want to be in the movie, please interview me. And I say, go to our page and upload a video, and then they don't do it. Then people complain, why is all the people on your page so white? Why are they all from the United States? That's who's giving me the videos. So if you want to see yourself reflected, if you want to be in the movie, make a video today. Go to erasingfamily.org, click on share your story, and there's a survey you can take that is very long and detailed where you can get into all the long details about your case. It's super helpful. We're also going to be using these surveys to start contacting kids of the parents who make the videos. If the kids are over 18, to see what happens. No guarantees that, we'll convince them of anything, but it's worth a shot. But we need you to make a video. And it's a tribute of love. You're not talking about what happened. You're saying, I miss you, and this is what I'd do if I could see you. So please do that today. So we're on to 2 things. And also, it's going to be searchable with your name. Hopefully your kid will see it. So that's 2 things. 1, never talk bad about your ex online, because your kids can see it, so that's a bad example. 2, go to erasingfamily.org and share your story with us. Obviously, don't do it if you're going to get beaten up or if there's a gag order, but if you can, do. And if you know someone from another country, if you know someone who doesn't speak English, ask them to do it and help them. And you can watch the over 70 videos we've already gotten, and you can see what works and what doesn't. The people who talk from the heart and keep it simple make great videos. The people who try to explain everything, they're not as good. Okay. Number 3, what can you do? We talked about this last week. You can create, and if you want instructions on how to do so, please see last week's video. Go by the URL, that's the website address for your child's name. Or I love you, Danielle Perkins, or Daniel Perkins is loved, something like that. And you just create a very simple web page with a video message to your kid, update it every once in a while with photos, get other family photos, get other family photos and videos from your family, and just put it up there so when your child Googles their name, they will see that you have been looking for them and that you've been fighting for them. If it's very hard technically for you to do, please watch last week's video about how to communicate with your kids online. And also, it's something where it's worth finding a young person to help you with, maybe paying them a little money, maybe seeing if you can do a trade. If you're really like, I don't know how to use technology, don't try to set up your own website. There are places where you can pay someone like $20-30 to do it. There are lots of online templates like WordPress and Squarespace and Wix. Keep it simple. So Renee Bonici, sorry if I'm butchering that name. How would you suggest to try and contact the 19-year-old daughter? She's refusing to contact for over 5 years, and I haven't contacted for approximately a year now. I would suggest the website because she will eventually find it. If you know how to contact her, I would keep on sending her letters and gifts and messages, but never saying I miss you, never saying I can't wait, I'm upset. Always saying, hey, I'm here for you if you ever want to talk. And if I did anything to make you feel bad, I want to make it right. How can I make it right? Lucy Lou, I'm Canadian. Yes, Lucy, please record a video. You know what I've been doing the past week? I have been begging French-speaking Canadians to make videos, and not one has done it. Not one person from Europe has made a video yet, and I've been literally begging people to make videos. So if you know of an erased parent who's in Europe, who's in Latin America, who's in Brazil, who's anywhere that doesn't speak English, and you're like, how can I help? Spend the 10 minutes explaining to them how to make a video. Have them do in their own language. We'll get it translated. We'll take care of that. But in the end of the movie, we have these videos of erased parents from all over the world, and right now they're all from the United States. So if you can help in any way, that's what we need help with, and we need them right away because we're going to finish the film. So if you send them to me in 2 weeks, that's not good. We need them now. Just reading from this. I'm fluently bilingual. Then make it in French, please, Lucy, and do it today. Erasingfamily.org. Okay. So, tip number 4. Sharing positive content from Erasing Family and other groups onto your social media platform. So positive content are messages of hope and messages about how the system is failing, not about people, right? Keep it positive, keep it upbeat, always looking for the criticism of the system, not of the people. So if you haven't already, share this video right now. And I'm gonna make it super easy. I'm gonna put the link there. And especially if you have people, if you're a part of other groups, this can be like really, really great to do. So here is the video link. I'm going to post it. I think there might just be a shared video, but just in case. I will share this link with you. That's the video if you want to share it. I think, let me see, hold on. It might not be the case. Technology can be tough sometimes. I'm not saying that it's easy. One second. Okay, so I'm seeing myself. Cool. I'm trying just to get this. I'm sorry about this. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Here's the video link to share. Sorry about that. Okay, so I just did that. So sharing content, that's really easy. So there's a question. Michael Fearon, hi, Mike from Toronto. Mike, make us a video and say that you're Canadian, please. I'm being rude to you Canadians because you know what's going to happen? We're going to make the film. It's going to come out and then everyone's going to be like, why are there so few Canadians in your movie? Why didn't you try harder? And I will blame the polite, beautiful people of the Maple Leaf country for not submitting their videos. So you have the video right there if you want to do it. When does the movie come out and how do we watch it, where it'll be available? So great question, Christina Marie. So it's going to be available online, but what we really want is for people to have screenings in their own communities. And a lot of people have asked about bringing the film to their children's schools or university, and that's what we want you to do. Now, for a lot of people, they can't bring this into their kid's school because either they're not allowed or the kid won't watch it if you're attached to it. So we've created an ambassador program. And you can go to racinghealing.org, go to Get Involved, sign up to be an ambassador. The training videos have already started to roll out. We'll soon have live webinars in the fall. And you will be trained and given everything you need to set up screenings in your community. And the ideal is that organizations sponsor these screenings like universities, churches, temples, high schools, Rotary clubs, local bar associations, state legislatures, members of parliament in Canada, everything, right? So what we want to do is make it super easy for you to set these up, and we're going to be helping along the way. And it's a great way to help create change because people can not only watch the film, but they can talk about it, and watching the film as a community is so much more powerful than watching a film alone. So we're very excited about that. So you can sign up to be an ambassador, which is going to be my 5th point. So Lucy Lou, do you have an Oregon French address or French speaking, or do I refer them to the English site? We only have it in English right now. If someone wanted to volunteer to translate stuff into French, we would love that. And you can sign up to be a volunteer on our platform. And, you know, if people don't want to fill out the survey, that's okay for now. We might have to go back and get like permission from them to use the video in the film. But what's really important is just that they make a video in French, they hold up a sign in French, and they say that they're from Canada. It almost doesn't matter what else they say because that might be the little part that we use, but that would be really awesome. And also, if you look at our videos, they are very white. So we are asking for people of Latino origin, Asian origin, and who are members of the Black and African communities to make videos. Again, our diversity is only as good as the people who send us stuff. So right there, there's 5 tips, right? Don't badmouth your ex. Make a online because your kids can see it, so it's a bad example, and it makes people blame you for your problems instead of the system. 2, creating a website with your child's name and the URL, and there's a lot of easy ways to do it. Watch last week's video. 3, share positive content like this video and other groups that are working on your own site. 4, this is where I'm getting a little brain fog. Make a video using our platform. 5, become an ambassador in your community. And I think it's very important, if you want to volunteer, become an advocate, to make sure that you're in a healthy place and to always take care of yourself first. It's so important. So Jay, you said, what's the best way to be involved and how can I reach you? So I'm personally being completely overwhelmed by people who want to talk to me on a one-on-one basis. That's why I'm doing these chats. So if you have a question, this is the time to ask with these chats, because there are 22 million erased parents in the US alone. Soon we'll have the Canadian numbers. Imagine that. 22 million. I don't have the hours in a day to talk to 22 million people. So please use these forums to ask questions. If you want to get involved and be an ambassador, you can do that on our webpage. Just sign up and start taking the trainings. And, you know, there's 20,000 people who follow Reunite. If 10% sign up to be an ambassador, that's 2,000 ambassadors. And if each person sets up one screening, that's 2,000 screenings. And if each screening 100 people go, I'm going to do the math because that's how tired I am. And this is really sad that I have to times out. So 2,000, 100. That's 200,000 people will see the film. But they'll see the film in a good setting, get a debate. And what's very interesting too, I think this is important, is that it's not about everybody needs to see the film, because that would be great, but you know, not even everybody has seen Star Wars. So this is a small documentary, very low budget. So let's not kid ourselves and think, you know, this is going to be Star Wars or even a Michael Moore level style release. It's not. But what we can do is, if we get 2,000 community screenings across North America, Australia, and Europe, that's powerful. That changes the conversation, because all movements that have created change, it's not that most of society is behind these movements. It is a small group of people who put in the time, who have a very good strategy, who are smart about how they're going to behave and how they plan, who get change done, and then most people begin to follow. If we look at history, we can see this time and time again. Slavery. When people started talking about abolishing slavery, they were considered crazy. And then within about 50 years, slavery was abolished. The people, and now it's like, well, who would be for slavery? Well, most people were for slavery 150 years ago. Even the people who did not own enslaved peoples were. But because a few group of people were allowed themselves to be mocked, ridiculed, and punished, they went to jail. They suffered, because enslaving another human being is wrong. I think we can all agree upon that now, but people didn't agree upon that back then. And the same thing with what's happening with the family courts. What the family courts do is they try to figure out if a parent deserves to be cut out of a child's life, instead of looking about how can they help that relationship heal. Okay, video can be viewed. Michael Fearon, did you say that alienated parents might be poor ambassadors because the alienated children at the school would see as a transparent attempt to sneak a message to them? Yes. I didn't say they'd be poor ambassadors. I was saying that if your kid says, I hate you, Dad, don't come near me, and then you show up the kid's school to show a racing family, your kid's probably not going to see it. They're going to sneak out, or they're just going to hate it. So it would be better if another ambassador switched schools with you, and they took the film to your kid's school and vice versa, and that way it's just a film that's being shown. It has nothing to do with them. Nikki Coway, can you see my comments? Yes, we can, but you're not asking questions. Jay, did I answer your questions about the best way to be involved? Any other questions before we end? So we're very excited. We're finishing up the film. We're working on a lot of content. Already 110 judges, lawyers, and mediators have signed up to show the film. And we do that with the work of volunteers at the AFCC conference, that's the Association of Family and Conciliatory Courts. And with more ambassadors, I mean, there's no reason why we can't get every senator, congressperson, member of parliament to see this film, every family court judge to see this film. And it's the beginning of a shift. It's the beginning of building a movement. It's not a cure. And I think a lot of people get frustrated when I say, well, this movie isn't going to change how family courts operate. Oh, but one thing doesn't change anything. One thing is the first step on a journey, and the idea is that this film can help other people do their advocacy more efficiently, that they can message more efficiently, and that people have their hearts opened by the film to then receive all the good information that's already out there. So Jay said, yes, I answered his question. Nikki Conway, I would love to help. Well, we just spend some time with helping. Remember, stay positive, take care of yourselves. Advocacy is not therapy. If you don't have a in-person support group, start one, find one. Parents are always surprised when they say, oh, I need a support group in Northern New Jersey. I'm like, there is one. Google it, look at meetups, ask around. You might be surprised about the resources that already exist in your area, right? In addition to the great resources that can exist online. You need to talk to people, you need to have a safe space, you need to stay healthy. And this is so important. Kids do not reunite with sad, damaged, angry parents. They reunite with happy parents who can provide them love and support and who are not bitter. I know that's a hard thing to ask of you because you're suffering. I get it. But just remember, being healthy and happy, it isn't for you, it's for your kids. So some more questions. Debbie Franklin Patrick, what if you don't care to see your strange adult child ever again, but you want to see their grandchildren? They live in the next state over. I don't know. If you're a parent who never wants to see your kids again, I can't relate to that. And I say that as someone who isn't a parent, but you know, how could you not want to see your kids again? I don't understand that. Christine Barhill, is there a list of where current ambassadors are located, what communities are supported? Not yet. We are working on that. The ambassador program still is in its infancy, but we will have that. So sign up to have that information, and that's going to be a case-by-case basis because not everybody needs to switch with an ambassador for their kid's school, but it is something that we've considered and have taken into account. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining the chat. Okay. So Jay, well, I'd like to know you better. Eat with you, look into your eyes. I love what you're doing with this project, but you should know you are so beautiful, your mind and face. Okay, I said it there, laugh out loud. Well, I'm flattered, Jay. That's inappropriate. We need to act professionally, and that does not mean flirting or hitting on random women who you see online. So hopefully you'll send an apology, but that just makes people uncomfortable. I'm not doing this to, you know, as a personality contest. This is about the kid, and this is also, you know, little things like that. For me, I have very tough skin. You know, I've been in, you know, military coups. I've watched tanks roll down the streets. I've filmed videos in slums. I have very thick skin. I'm a survivor of sexual assault. I was raped when I was 14. I can deal with a lot, but some people, those little comments, they can be hurtful, or they can make them feel very uncomfortable, especially younger people. So always just be aware, and I'm saying this with love and respect. You know, it's not a, you know, it's about just thinking, you know, how would you want someone to act to your daughter or your son? And just mimicking that behavior with people. We all want to be treated professionally, especially when we're in a professional capacity like we are today. Now you're fine, Patrick. You won't until you've had things done to you and your family that has been done. I think it's going to be hard, Debbie, to see your grandkids if you don't want to see your kids. I don't know how that would work because, you know, it's their children. In some states you might be able to sue for visitation, but I think, you know, here's the thing, when you're dealing with a child who's been poisoned against you, that behavior is it's like when there's an addict and the addict says, the addict, well, what will they do? They'll lie. They'll steal from you. They'll make false promises. And an addict needs limits. So there's reasons why not to let an addict into your home if they're stealing from you, if they're actively using, if they're violent, right? But if we get mad at the addict, that's not helping them. And children who are going through this are the same as people who have been in a cult or kidnapped. So that behavior is not of their own accord. And I think this is very important, because when a kid says, I hate you, you're a bitch, you're a cunt, you're a piece of shit. When they spy on you, when they punch you, that's very hurtful. But to blame them for that behavior, even when they're young adults, is not realizing the mental anguish they are in, and they are the true victims. So you might choose not to have a relationship with them. It might be too hard for you to process, and I respect that. But I don't see how you'll be able to see your grandkids unless, first of all, they're probably being told horrible things about you. So it would have to be of their own accord, of some desire to find you as they get older. Maybe I'm wrong, but when we lose the capacity for forgiveness, and then we ask other people to forgive us, it's a very hard thing to ask for people to do. And I think it's fine, and I definitely have my own issues with my own family. It's fine to say, look, I can't deal with this right now. I need a break. We don't know how to react. We don't know how to relate. Or these are some limits. And I recently had to put a limit on my own family. That was very hard, because my sister, she blames me for my mother's death, because I was living in another country. My mother said, I don't want to die until I see Ginger, and I come home and she dies 2 weeks later. And this happened 3 years ago, and I can still tell that my sister blames me for making mommy die. Now, I told her that, and I would love to have a conversation with her. Hell, I would love for her to punch me in the face and get it over with. But she doesn't have the tools to express that. So instead, she's constantly criticizing me about how rude I am, how impolite I am, how uncomfortable I make other people, and all these little nitpicky things. She tells me exactly what I should say to our father, for example. So I said to her, look, I can't be around this anymore. And if someone's telling you that I'm being rude to them, you should tell them that they should talk to me. Of course, no one's saying that I'm being rude. It's what she perceives, and it's what she feels that she can make me feel bad with. So I understand what it's like to say, I can't be with a family member right now. Because my sister was just, I try to be nice and nothing would work. And I'm just like, okay, I need to step back. And the same with my dad. He said he doesn't want me to show emotion. He wants me to pretend like everything is great all the time and always be smiling. And at one point, it's like, it's family. If you can't talk about how bad things are with your family, it's not great. He said, no, I want you to pretend like everything's great. And I was like, I just can't deal with that right now. And when I said this, I said it in a very rude way. I used some curse words because I was a lot of pent-up frustration. I also said, I love you and I always love you. But then they said, well, we don't want to see you that much anymore. So I completely get it. And that's the other thing I always tell parents too. Can we help your kid forgive you with the movie? Yes. Can we help you reunite with your kid? Yes. But at some point, all relationships, especially family relationships, are filled with crazy dynamics. And a reunification, even a great, powerful, emotional one, is not a guarantee of a close relationship. Sometimes people are just too damaged. Sometimes the relationship itself is damaged. But also what can happen is that other things get in the way that have nothing to do with alienation or being erased. Like, I understand what happened to my dad and my mom and what happened to me through the divorce and how the courts impacted that and how they made the best decisions they could because the system forced them to make horrible, awful choices. I get that, and I've been able to move past that. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to have a great relationship with my dad now if we're both not willing to work on it, or if everything needs to be happy and fake and just always smiling all the time. And I was like, you know, so I get it, and I'm not like, thank you. Renee Bachi, I really enjoyed listening to this. I'm glad. Thank you. Last I heard from my 19-year-old was an abusive phone call. I never give up. I can never give up. Just remember that it's not so. I think this is when you get an abusive phone call. One thing is to engage in that behavior. Another thing is to set a limit. I think it's perfectly fine to be like, if you're going to talk to me like that, I'm going to have to hang up. The same as no texting at the dinner table. If you text, there's no, you can't eat. That's also fine. I think also, though, if you haven't seen your kid in a while, they show up at 17 and being texting at the table, if you try to play that authoritative parental role, it might not work. Leslie Christie said, where those with an abusive older teen don't give up. Current brain research says that the human brain doesn't mature until 25, 26. Very true. Someone who's 15, 16, 19 is still not playing with a fully developed brain. Many kids need to get away from home or school or career before they have the distance to see what happens when their parents divorce. So true. So true. I've also heard of cases where people reunite when the kid's 45, 55, 65. I hope it doesn't take that long, but things change. And right now, the problem that we're dealing with is that there's no roadmap for people going through this. Like if you've been through certain types of trauma, sexual assault, hotlines you can call, books you can read, support groups you can go to. You see this projected on TV, everyone's telling you to get help and how bad it is. But if you go through this, people just say, well, then if your parent upsets you, don't talk to them. And that's what we need to change. That's what we're hoping to change. So with that, I'm going to end. Remember, share this video. Like this. If you haven't already, like our Facebook page. If you want updates, sign up for our mailing list on erasingfamily.org. If you can make a tax-deductible contribution to our film fund, we're so close to finishing. We just need that little extra help. Please do so. Make a video, please. Please, 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 please. Or at the very least, if you don't make a video, please never contact me asking me to interview you or to make a movie about your story. You had your chance with the video, so take advantage of it. And stay strong. It's very hard, but you guys are rays of hope. And whenever there's rays of hope, that sunshine pierces through the darkest clouds.